Oh wow. My camera's not working. I guess I should have tested that before we went on stream. That's that's not good. 1 second, y'all. There we go. Instant tech support. All right, what's going on, everybody? Let's come back here. Happy Wednesday. We're halfway through the week. What about it? Update everything that needs to get updated. So we are live at the Alpha Esports and Technology Center. I hope y'all are having a good week. Hold on. There we go. All right. So hope y'all are having a good week. The craziest thing happened to me earlier this week. After our stream on Monday, went home, had we ordered out and I got like ridiculously sick. Like, I mean, really bad. And now when I think about it, I'm like, maybe I was coming down with something even before that, because remember on Monday, like I just was hot for no reason. I had my little paper towel, kind of trying to keep myself cool from sweat. But when I got home, it was just like it was crazy. Like I thought that was gonna be the end of it and end of my story. But like I said, I'm feeling a little bit better, still a little out of it, but the show must go on. And we are here with day 5 of our AWS Cloud Quest stream. So everybody who's watching, thank you for watching. We are streaming live on YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Trovo. We are streaming live from the Alpha Esports and Technology Center here in Suwanee, Georgia. See, I got my business shirt on today. And thank you for watching. Again, if you want to support the stream, you can do so by doing exactly what you're doing right now, which is just tuning in and watching. But you could also like the channel, subscribe for subscribe to the channel, like the video, click the bell for notifications. And if you want to do a little bit more, you can click that QR code up in the corner to support the stream, which would buy me a coffee. Or if you're watching on our Alpha Cybersecurity YouTube channel, you can leave us a super chat. It is not mandatory. It is not required, but it is definitely appreciated. So again, thank you for watching. Tell a friend to tell a friend that we are live. Like I said, I probably don't have the most energy in the world right now. But like I said, I just wanted to go ahead and get things started. So I already started off with collecting a pet since it was already here. We were getting everything going before the stream. And like I said, we're going to try to pick up where we left off. So where are we now? If we want to just let's see where we are in our progress. 5 of 13, 5 of 12. Says we have 7 more assignments before we complete the badge. So let's go ahead and get to it, because I want to make sure we get that badge and get things going. Also, I think Friday, well, we'll see what happens, but Friday might be, we might try to stream and get as much done. Maybe not all of it. It would be cool if we were to get the rest of it done, but I'm thinking we'll try to wrap this up by Friday. So everybody who's following along, you can either catch us live or you could catch the video on demand after Friday. Like I said, we'll see what happens. We'll see, because I mean it is a lot. Let's see where we get how we get through it today, and see where it goes. All right, so this one we're doing, it looks like databases in practice. So it looks here we have headquarters for insurance company. We're going to help out. Their database administrators complain that they spend too much time with operational tasks like patching and managing database infrastructure, and they want to know if AWS has a solution. AWS does have a relational database service called Amazon RDS that removes a burden of patching and managing the infrastructure. So it says here, we can also, RDS also performs routine backups and make sure, and then they have things for any type of disaster recovery. So you can deploy databases in multiple availability zones. Should a disaster impact one availability zone, an automatic failover to the other one will occur. So again, this is just kind of making sure that your systems are redundant. This is why it's important to have things in multiple places or multiple availability zones, because you don't want to run the risk of, if you have all your eggs in one basket and and that basket falls, you're screwed. So you want to make sure you have, when dealing with backups, you have them in different zones so that in the say, say Northeast region, fails there, or something maybe in the Midwest, or even on the West Coast, or maybe even in a different country, something. So this way you have the ability to recover. Like I said, I'm obviously, with the distance, it might take a little bit more time to get everything back up, but at least you can get everything back up as opposed to just losing everything. All right, so it looks like we're going to go into the AWS RDS service. So the database in practice, we're going to improve the efficiency, availability, and performance the operational efficiency, availability, and the performance efficiency of databases by using multiple availability zones and a read replica. So it looks like we're going to create. So here you have our application layer. So we're going to create a replica here that has read-only access. This availability zone B has read and write access. So this is probably the main source. And then you have a failover over here in availability zone C, which will sync up with everything for the standby. All right, so we'll go ahead and get to the videos.
Amazon Relational Database Service. Amazon RDS Overview. Amazon RDS is a managed relational database service. Amazon RDS makes it easy to set up, operate, and scale a relational database in the cloud. It provides cost-efficient and resizable capacity, while automating time-consuming administration tasks, such as hardware provisioning, database setup, patching, and backups. It frees you to focus on your applications. Amazon RDS provides you with 6 familiar database engines to choose from, including Amazon Aurora, PostgreSQL, MySQL, MariaDB, Oracle Database, and SQL Server. You can use the AWS Database Migration Service to easily migrate or replicate your existing databases to Amazon RDS. Here are the key benefits. Easy to administer. Amazon RDS makes it easy to go from project conception to deployment. You can use the Amazon RDS Management Console, the AWS RDS command line interface, or simple API calls to access the capabilities of a production-ready relational database in minutes. You do not need to worry about infrastructure provisioning, installing, and maintaining database software. Highly scalable. You can vertically scale your database's compute, memory, and storage resources with only a few mouse clicks or an API call, often with no downtime. Many Amazon RDS engine types allow you to launch one or more read replicas to offload read traffic from your primary database instance. Available and durable. Amazon RDS runs on the same highly reliable infrastructure used by other Amazon Web Services. When you provision a multi-AZDB instance, Amazon RDS synchronously replicates the data to a standby instance in a different availability zone, AZ. Amazon RDS also has many other features that enhance reliability for critical production databases, including automated backups, database snapshots, and automatic host replacement. Fast. A DB instance is an isolated database environment running in the cloud. You can provision new RDS instances only in a few minutes. Amazon RDS supports the most demanding database applications with fast performance. You can choose between 2 SSD-backed storage options. In addition, Amazon Aurora provides performance on par with commercial databases at 1/10 the cost. Secure. Amazon RDS makes it easy to control network access to your database. It lets you isolate your database instances by running them Amazon VPC and connect to your existing IT infrastructure through an industry-standard encrypted IPsec VPN. Many Amazon RDS engine types also offer encryption at rest and encryption in transit.
Whew, okay. I like that they do these overviews with the diagrams. like I said, they definitely got to work on the voiceover though. But anyway, let's go ahead and learn about the availability and durability.
Amazon Relational Database Service features. Availability and durability. Amazon RDS also offer features to enhance availability and durability for your production workloads. Turned on by default, the automated backup feature of Amazon RDS will back up your databases and transaction logs, and saves them securely in Amazon S3 for a user-specified retention period. Your automatic backup retention period can be configured to up to 35 days. Automated backups enables point-in-time recovery for your database instance. It allows you to restore your database instance to any second during your retention period, up to the last 5 minutes. Database snapshots are user-initiated backups of your instance, stored in Amazon S3, that are kept until you explicitly delete them. You can create a new instance from a database snapshots whenever you desire. Although database snapshots serve operationally as full backups, you are billed only for incremental storage use. Amazon RDS will automatically replace the compute instance powering your deployment in the event of a hardware failure. Amazon RDS
I'm glad they keep
deployments provide enhanced availability and durability for database instances, making them a natural fit for production database
3.5 to 4 minutes.
When you provision a multi-AZ DB instance, Amazon RDS automatically creates a primary DB instance and synchronously replicates the data to a standby DB instance in a different availability zone in the same or a different region.
That's what we kind of
in case of an infrastructure failure, Amazon RDS performs an automatic failover to the standby.
I have this certification already, but I do need to
is
recertify
promoted to
it.
become the primary DB
I'm just
instance.
kind of going.
Data is replicated back to a new standby DB instance to retain high availability.
But yeah, they definitely.
Since the endpoint for your DB instance remains the same after a failover, your application can resume database operations as soon as the failover is complete. No manual administrative intervention is needed.
Appreciate it.
Amazon Relational Database Service features. Lower administrative burden and performance.
Yeah,
First, let's start with the features that help you lower administrative burden. It is easy to use. When you create an Amazon RDS DB instance, you can choose the database engine, storage capacity, CPU, and memory of the instance. The DB instance class determines the computation and memory capacity available to a DB instance.
If those are done,
Amazon RDS supports 3 types of DB instance classes. Standard, for general purpose instances. Memory optimized, for memory intensive applications. And burstable performance DB instance class for burstable instances, with the ability to burst to full CPU usage. Amazon RDS database instances are pre-configured with parameters and settings appropriate for the engine and class you have selected. You can launch a database instance and connect your application within minutes. In addition, DB parameter groups provide granular control and fine-tuning of your database. A DB parameter group acts as a container for engine configuration values that are applied to one or more DB instances. Automatic software patching. RDS will make sure that the relational database software powering your deployment stays up to date with the latest patches. You can exert optional control over when and if your database instance is patched. Best practice recommendation. Amazon RDS provides best practice guidance by analyzing configuration and usage metrics from your database instances. Recommendations cover areas such as database engine versions, storage, instance types, and networking. You can browse the available recommendations and perform a recommended action immediately. Schedule it for their next maintenance window, or dismiss it entirely.
Next week we're doing our scratch
performance. Amazon RDS provides 3 storage types, which differ in performance characteristics and price, which means that you can tailor your storage performance and cost to the needs of your database workload. Amazon RDS General Purpose Storage, also known as GP2, is an SSD-backed storage option that delivers a consistent baseline of 3 IOPS per provisioned gigabyte and provides the ability to burst up to 3,000 IOPS above the baseline. This storage type is suitable for a broad range of database workloads. Amazon RDS Provisioned IOPS Storage, also known as IO1, is an SSD-backed storage option that's designed to deliver fast, predictable, and consistent I/O performance. You specify an IOPS rate when creating a database instance, and Amazon RDS provisions that IOPS rate for the lifetime of the database instance. This storage type is optimized for I/O-intensive transactional OLTP database workloads. You can provision up to 40,000 IOPS per database instance. In addition, Amazon RDS also supports magnetic storage, also known as standard storage, for backward compatibility. We recommend that you use general purpose SSD or provisioned IOPS for any new storage needs.
All right, so halfway there.
Amazon Relational Database Service features. Manageability and cost effectiveness. Here are the Amazon RDS key features related to manageability. Monitoring and metrics. Amazon RDS provides Amazon Cloud Watch metrics for your database instances at no additional charge. You can use the RDS Management Console to view key operational metrics, including compute, memory, storage capacity utilization, I/O activity, and instance connections. Amazon RDS also provides enhanced monitoring, which provides access to over 50 metrics, including CPU, memory, file system, and disk I/O metrics, as well as performance insights. Performance Insights is an easy-to-use database performance tuning and monitoring tool that helps you quickly access the load on your database and detect performance problems. Event notifications. Amazon RDS can notify you using email or SMS text message of database events through Amazon SNS. You can use the AWS Management Console or the Amazon RDS APIs to subscribe to over 40 different database events associated with your database instances. Configuration governance. Amazon
second, y'all, I'll be right back.
integrates with AWS Config to support compliance and enhance security by recording and auditing changes to the configuration of your DB instance, including parameter groups, subnet groups, snapshots, security groups, and event subscriptions. Here are the key features related to cost effectiveness. Pay only for what you use. There is no upfront commitment with Amazon RDS. You simply pay a monthly charge for each database instance that you launch. When you're finished with a database instance, you can easily delete it. Reserved instances. Amazon RDS reserved instances give you the option to reserve a DB instance for a 1 or 3 year term, and in turn receive a significant discount compared to the on-demand instance pricing for the DB instance. Stop and start. Amazon RDS allows you to easily stop and start your database instances for up to 7 days at a time. This makes it easy and affordable to use databases for development and test purposes, where the database is not required to be running all of the time.
All right, y'all. Just 1 second. All right, y'all. Hey,
Amazon Relational
comrade,
Database
thanks.
Service Features. Scalability. Here are the key features for scalability. Push-button compute scaling. You can scale the compute and memory resources, vertically up or down, up to a maximum of 32 vCPUs, and 244 GB of RAM. Compute scaling operations typically complete in a few minutes. Easy storage scaling. The Amazon Aurora engine will automatically grow the size of your database volume as your database storage needs grow, up to a maximum of 64 terabytes, or a maximum you define. The MySQL, MariaDB, Oracle, and PostgreSQL engines allow you to scale up to 64 terabytes of storage, and SQL Server supports up to 16 terabytes. Storage scaling is on the fly, with zero downtime. Amazon RDS read replicas provide enhanced performance and durability for RDS database (DB) instances. It helps to offload read-heavy database workloads. You can create one or more read replicas of a given primary DB instance within an availability zone, cross-AZ or cross-region. The read replica operates as a DB instance that allows only read-only connections, while master or primary DB instance allows both read and write connections to your application. Updates made to the primary DB instance are asynchronously copied to the read replica. Using read replicas, you can elastically scale out beyond the capacity constraints of a single DB. This increases the aggregate read throughput. Let's look at a common use case. You want to run a reporting application that performs some analytics on the RDS database. In order to reduce the read traffic in the primary database, you can create a read replica for the reporting application to read data directly from the read replica.
Basically what we're going to be doing.
Read replicas can also be promoted to standalone DB instances as a disaster recovery solution if the primary DB instance fails. As you can see, read replica helps scaling out read operations. What about write operations? Amazon Aurora Multi-Master Clusters feature provides the capability to scale out both your read and write operations. In a multi-master cluster, an Aurora cluster consists of a set of master database nodes and a shared storage volume across multiple availability zones for high availability and durability of user data. All DB instances can perform read and write operations. The multi-master cluster doesn't use the failover mechanism because it doesn't need to promote another DB instance to have read-write capability. It offers continuous availability. Any DB instances in this case can take over the work of the failed instance.
All right.
Amazon Relational Database Service features. Security. Here are the key features. Network isolation. AWS recommends that you run your database instances in a virtual private cloud, VPC, which allows you to isolate your database in your virtual network. VPC enables you to run a DB instance within a private subnet, making it secure from direct public routes on the internet. You can control network access to your DB instances in VPC, using security groups at the instance level and network ACLs in the subnet level. VPC traffic are connected to your on-premises IT infrastructure, using industry-standard encrypted IPsec VPNs, and can be further inspected by your on-premises security infrastructure, including network firewalls and intrusion detection systems. Resource level permissions. Amazon RDS is integrated with AWS Identity and Access Management, AWS IAM. It provides you the ability to control the actions that your AWS IAM users and groups can take on specific Amazon RDS resources, from database instances through snapshots, parameter groups, and option groups. You can also tag your Amazon RDS resources and control the actions that your IAM users and groups can take on groups of resources that have the same tag and associated value. For example, you can configure your IAM rules to ensure developers are able to modify development database instances, but only database administrators can make changes to production database instances.
I was saying,
encryption at rest and in transit.
After the stream,
Amazon RDS allows you to encrypt your databases using keys you manage through AWS Key Management Service, AWS KMS. The database uses a customer master key stored in AWS KMS to encrypt the data keys, which encrypt the data at rest in the database. Its automated backups, read replicas, and snapshots are also encrypted.
Slept most of the day, so
Amazon RDS supports transparent data encryption, TDE, in SQL Server and Oracle.
Must go on, right?
Transparent data encryption in Oracle is integrated with
entrepreneur, I
AWS
guess.
Cloud
But
HSO,
it's
which
been,
allows you to securely
yeah,
generate,
I
store, and manage your
definitely
cryptographic
feel
2DE
it
master
now, like
encryption
especially as we're
keys
going
in
through the stream. Like
single-tenant
I
hardware
definitely
security module
know
(HSM)
I'm not
appliances within the
100%.
AWS Cloud. With TDE, the database software encrypts data
And
before
I'm kind
storing
of
it
doing
on
this
disk.
and running back and forth.
In addition, Amazon RDS
We're getting
secure data
things
in
ready
transit.
for
You can
summer
use
camp
secure socket
starting
layer
next week.
(SSL) or transport layer security (TLS) from your application to encrypt a connection to a RDS DB
So
instance.
here in Georgia, schools are done. Today was the last day of school for the school district that we live in, and you know, we're gonna have
Amazon Relational Database.
some we got our summer stuff starting up. So all right, so we finished up the videos, the solution. So again, we're going to create a relational database service to basically create a failover backup for the client. So we'll go ahead. So we're going to launch the RDS instance. We're going to configure a multi availability zone deployment, and then we're going to configure the backups. And then we're going to create a read replica of the primary database using the database T3 large instance. So our practice lab is going to focus on building this out, and then we're going to build out this read-only access for the do-it-yourself lab. All right, so let's go ahead and get things moving. And I want to try out XDefiant since I know XDefiant came out today, but we'll see where we go with it. Like I said, I want to try to wrap up this AWS Friday. So I'm shooting to do like a long stream on Friday to get through everything. All right, so databases in practice, see if there's any lab files. There's no lab files. And we're going to go ahead and start up our lab, bring up our console, swap over here. Like always, we're going to check and make sure that we are an AWS lab user and not our environment. So that's good to go. We're in the proper regions. We're in the North Virginia, US East region. So we're good to go there. And again, we're going to launch an RDS instance, configure multi-zone employment, multi-availability zone deployment, and then we're going to create and configure backups. So we're going to start first. Again, same thing we usually do. We'll go in here and search. We're going to search for RDS and bring up the RDS dashboard. And then after we go there, we're going to check out our databases. So we'll go to our database section. And now once we see the database section, we're going to create a standard database. And we're going to use, I think we're going to use MariaDB for that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and click create. It's going to be a standard, and we're using MariaDB for our database. And then for the engine, we'll go ahead and select dev test engine. And we're going to go and we're going to name it. So we'll name it the identifier. We'll call it, I don't know, we'll call it testDB. Or no, it's actually telling us to call it my database. So let's not go too far off, because it might tell us that it might be looking for that for their billing thing. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to have it self-managed. So typically you would want to do it in the secrets manager, because that ensures that there's more security involved. But for this, they want us to do the self-manage option. And then we're going to create a password. The password is going to be That doesn't look like it's enough letters to be the password. Learning 1, 2. All right, so they said they want the password to be there we go. It's a very secure password. It has a mixture of uppercase, lowercase, numbers, and special characters. Hold on. All right, so we have that for our password. And now we want it to be, we're going to scroll. We want to do burstable. So remember, burstable will allow it to spike when needed. And it looks like we want to use a database T3 extra large. So database T3 extra large. And then for our storage type, we're going to go with general purpose SSD, and it's about 20 gigs. So general purpose SSD. $20 gigs. All right, so we have that. Now we want to bring down our storage auto scaling. And we want to create a standby. We're going to create a standby instance for a multiple availability zone deployment. 1 second. All right, y'all. Let's see. Where were we? Where are we now? All right, so we just created a multi-availability zone environment. We're going to go into our connectivity section. And in our connectivity section, we are going to leave that in the default VPC. So connectivity section, here. We're going to leave all of those. We're going to leave the default here. Our subnet group, we're also going to leave by default. Our public access, we're going to keep no. We're going to leave that at no. So we're going to keep that at default. And then our security group for our firewall, we're going to make sure that it's still set choose existing. So all of that is all default. And then in the monitoring section, we're going to go for performance insights. So monitoring, we're going to turn off performance insights. We're going to open up our additional configurations, and we are going to clear enabling enhanced monitoring. So clearly you can see for this lab environment that they want us to do the bare minimum. They don't want us to do too many features and use all the bells and whistles. And then for our additional configuration, we are going to drop down here. We're going to call it my database. So my database, we need to make sure that it is using MariaDB. Okay, so that's good. Under backup, we're going to leave those by default. And then leave the enable automated backups. So we're leaving that by default. And I'm assuming we're going to leave the encryption, right? In the additional configuration for encryption, we're going to enable encryption. So yep, we're going to keep enable encryption. And then for maintenance, we want to clear the checkbox. So we don't want to enable auto miner version upgrades. And then we're going to scroll down to create database. All right, so now it says we're going to build our database. So now my question is for the challenge, since we have some time, again, let's see if we can, not that I want to cheat, but because I think the challenge was that we needed to create a read replica, right? Yep, so we need to create a read replica once the database is created. Oh, y'all just saw my password. Oh no. So anyway, how's y'all? Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Again, thank you for supporting the channel. Again, we're trying to get things built back up to get the algorithm jumping, especially as we head into the summer and then into the fall, where we plan on doing a lot more technical videos and technical streams. Super excited to kind of get things going for the summer. You know, working in this type of field right now with the gaming and tech stuff, things can be stop and go, because obviously you have students and, you know, we have the college kids, high school kids, and middle school kids. So with working with those groups, obviously we have to work with schools, you know, school schedules and their commitments to things. So haven't been able to really get things off the ground. And then we've been getting a lot of requests for some more technical content, but we wanted to make sure that the technical content, not only was it going to be quality, because obviously that's, you know, something that we really want to work on and make sure that we're doing on a consistent basis here, but I also wanted to make sure that there is a benefit to it, right? So I want to make sure that people can leave here with not just the educational stuff, but hands-on knowledge that will help them in their careers or help them with whatever path they choose to take, whether it's getting certifications or landing a job. The hands-on stuff is super important. Again, another reason why I like these type of trainings and labs is because of the fact that it allows you to do hands-on, right? So it's not just listening to the robotic talking or even the people talking. It's having that hands-on piece of it that allows you to get that experience in a real environment, right? This is a real AWS environment. You're using their lab, but it's exactly what you would see in an AWS environment. That's why I like that. That's why I like setting up virtual testing environments or virtual pen testing labs, because it puts you, it gives you real world experience with using tools and learning how to build, your Kali Linux or your Ubuntu image or whatever the case may be, to when working in the real world, right? The CTFs might be a little bit exaggerated. The CTFs may have some things, you're never going to have like I'm not going to say never, but you're never going to, you very rarely are you ever going to see, cracking encryption and steganography and forensics and also, offensive pen testing all in one in a real world situation, right? Either you're going to be having some type of web app pen test, some type of mobile app pen test, IoT, you're going to have those type of pen tests. You're not necessarily going to have, so many challenges up in one, right? Active Directory. So that's where the CTFs are a little bit exaggerated. But other than that, those are the tools that you're using, or tools that are used in a real pen test. So again, that's why I'm big on hands-on labs and hands-on training. So, okay, so it looks like it went from creating to modifying. So we are halfway there. And I mean, while I'm here, I'm checking out. I don't know if y'all saw, you know what? Let's see if we can do that, right? Those hands-on. Yeah, the hands-on lab, like I said, it's muscle memory. It's definitely muscle memory, and it does help with the interview questions. Again, my one thing I do all the time, especially when I'm interviewing people, I go to test and look at what your what your hands-on knowledge is like. I guess while we're waiting, because we are a gaming center, I'm trying to check out some. So X Defiant came out today, and I want to know if it's what it looks like. I just don't want to get in trouble for streaming someone else's stream. But I guess we're gonna find out, right? We learn by we learn from our mistakes. So let's go ahead and see where right now I'm just checking out Flats's stream. He's also a really good Overwatch streamer. I watch a lot of his stuff with help on stuff with my Overwatch streams. So like I said, while we're just checking this stuff out, we're gonna. I just want to check while we're waiting, because I think it said it's going to take a little bit of time for that to go. But like I said, what I'm looking at is I'm looking at other games. We're a gaming center. I'm looking at things that are maybe an alternative to the Call of Duties and stuff of the world. And again, X Defiant, it falls under the realm of what I want. If we're going to play certain games, I want there to be a teamwork element, and it looks like there's a teamwork element because you can pick different classes. What they do at X Defiant, with it being a Ubisoft game, is it looks like you can play from classes from different from their different titles, right? So you have some from like their like, as you can see, they have the Splinter Cell. You have some that look like they're from the Division. So like I said, so they have different classes. So anyway, so I'm just wondering how this would play out. How this plays. I've heard when they first came out, it looked really cool, and then I know the last beta test, a lot of people were dragging it.
Fuck, am I gonna get up there?
So I'm just hoping that it doesn't. I hope it's a good one. So I'll probably check this out a little bit later. But checking back with our database, looks like it's still modifying. There is some CPU usage, so we have some stuff there. So the crazy part is the longest part of this lab isn't the videos or the training this time around. It's actually the lab itself that's kind of dragging its feet with making the making the database. And then once the database is created, now we're gonna have to create the read image. So hopefully the read copy isn't as bad as creating the initial database. So anyway, what are y'all working on? What are y'all goals? We are in what's this? We're almost in June, so that'll be the start of, no, that's still halfway through what, Q2? No, it's every 3 months. So yeah, so we'll be heading into Q3. Right. What are y'all goals for the, we're almost halfway through the year. What do y'all want to get done by the end of 2024? I can't believe it's already June. All right, we're already halfway through the year. I mean, like I said, it's school ended today. I'm about to have I officially have a senior and a sophomore in high school. Like the year's moving fast. I mean, it's been a rough one, but it's definitely moving. So, let me know in the comments what goals you're trying to get done for the before the year is out. I'll be right back.
Get fucking rolled, dude. Okay. I don't know how we lost that game. I feel like we popped off.
Okay. Let's see where we are with our database again. All right, so now it's creating a backup. Okay, so now we're in the final stages. All right, so like I said, we were checking out X Defiant. So let's just go to the website. Like I said, I don't want to get in too much trouble or mess up my stream and not be able to keep the stream up. So let's see what it says. So this is the X Defiant preseason. Ooh. Oh yeah, no, that's a good one. So I mean with Microsoft Sentinel and everything that they're doing and what they're announcing and them trying to especially stay, they're challenging Google with what they're doing with their threat detection, threat hunting stuff. Um that's I think that's a smart play. Again, I was just talking to my class last night and telling them, not to rush anything in their careers because this is a, this is it's a fairly new group. A lot of them don't really have a lot of experience, but I was telling them what they want to do is once they get their footing in the field, that they want to try to make sure they find a niche or find something that kind of allows them to uh, be in the path of emerging tech, right? And I think Microsoft Sentinel and what Google's doing with Mandiant and all of their stuff, um, AI as well. If you're in a position to learn those niche skills and put yourself in a position where when the demand comes, you're there, you're going to be in demand. It's a that's a power play, right? I think that's is very similar to what we did when application security was getting big, right? Not just web app stuff, but with APIs and cloud and IoT. When like I said, when APIs really started to pick up, 2018, 2019, 2020. People were testing APIs, but it wasn't as I wouldn't say popular, but it wasn't. Yeah, no, I'll say that API testing wasn't as popular as it is today, right? So now when you start to position yourself, you see it happening, and you position yourself. Now you become some of the people at the forefront, like not all the go-to, but are the experts, but you're definitely one of the names that's brought up. And again, there's situations where now people will bring you in, whether it's for consulting, jobs, whatever. The opportunities are endless. So definitely take advantage of that. Um, Learn what you can. But the one thing I will say is, as you're learning, um, put it out there, put that information out there, put out what you're doing, right? Talk about it, post online, create content if you're comfortable doing so. Because if you're on LinkedIn, put that stuff on LinkedIn. People pay attention to that. People definitely pay attention to that, and not only do people pay attention to it, the people who are behind the technology or the people who are implementing the technology are paying attention to it because they want people who can understand it. So they'll look at you and say, "Hey, oh, I saw you post this, or I saw you did a video, or I saw you do a live stream talking about this. I'd love to talk to you some more." And sometimes those small conversations lead to things later. I a lot of my relationships happen because of that, right? Because of the APIs, the stuff I did with APIs a couple years back, um, the podcast, all of that, my blog, all of that allowed me to create different relationships with different people, different companies that that helped further my career faster than just doing day-to-day work. All right, so looks like our database is now available. So when it's done, we can now check out. It says here we want to check out. Hold on, when I first got my A+, I ignored cloud technology. Yeah, you know what? I think a lot of people, the cloud was, there was a misjudgment on the cloud. There was an underestimation, and then there was an overestimation, and then an underestimation, and then AI came, right? So when the cloud first started coming out, people were like, "Oh, it's not going to do anything just yet." We'll be fine. And then that quickly turned into all of the jobs are going to be taken away because everything is going to the cloud, right? And no one fully understood the cloud. And then there was a rush to everybody to try to understand the cloud. And then when they understood the cloud, now you have more people understanding the cloud, and it's like, okay, cool, the cloud is here, we're good. It's not taking everybody's job. In fact, it's actually creating more jobs because people need to understand how the cloud works, and the people who understand how the cloud works are going to have jobs. And then it was like, then all of a sudden AI came and they were like, yeah, so shut that down, AI. And now I think, not that the AI craze is over, but I think it's starting to settle down. And now people are trying to get back into things. And now they're like, okay, now we need to do cloud. And then we need to do AI. Oh, yeah, by the way, we still need to make sure security is at the forefront of things. So don't worry. I was the same way when cloud first came about. I was like, yeah, I'm good. No, no one's going to jump to the cloud yet. No one really understands it. People are going to keep their servers on premises. Companies are too paranoid. And then once the cloud came out and they said, actually, you'll save a ton of money by having a cloud setup versus just an on-prem setup. And they started showing the scalability of the cloud. That's when it was like, oh, we need to get on that. We need to get on that quickly. So yeah. So like I said, so there was an overestimation, which then there was an underestimation, which then turned into an overestimation, which then kind of fluctuated a little bit. And now it's like, hey, we need to understand it. And like I said, and I think the other thing, just like everything else, the new technology is scary, right? The new tech, when you think about it, when you were first doing your A+, you were doing your A+, so you were just trying to figure out how to get that, get your foot in the door, how to get that, how to understand what's happening with computers to be able to do your job as an A+ certified technician. And then you look at the cloud and it's something that's totally intimidating because you're like, okay, how does this play into the mix of everything I'm trying to learn right now? It was like a data overload. So it's totally understandable and it's totally human. All right, so back to where we are now. So now we can look at the different options. If we expand this menu over here, nope, that's Amazon Q. See, here we go. Now look, you have AWS generative AI. So now you have generative AI chatbots in your cloud scenarios. All right. Fantastic. I didn't even see that before. But that's what the news does. They generate fear before they actually understand it. And then the thing with AI, like I keep telling people again, I told my class this last night. My fear with AI is that everybody's rushing to be first. Create the read replica. Okay, so I think that's our challenge right there, isn't it? Let's just double check. Yep, create the read replica. So let's just jump ahead. Let's jump ahead a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and create our read replica real quick. So we have the read replica, which is our database. This is the unique identifier that identifies the database instance. So I don't know, my DB instance, we'll just call it that since that's what they said before. Include classes. Yep. Sure. We'll keep it. 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 We have a VPC group default. Password authentication. Sure. Backup tags. Sure. We're going to turn off performance insights because we don't want performance insights. We don't want minor version. We don't want the stuff publicly accessible. Okay, so let's go ahead and create our read replica. Sure, why not? All right, so we went ahead, since we were already there, we have to create the DB, and we're going to end up having to create that for the do-it-yourself portion. We're going to have to create the read replica. So might as well just go ahead, since we were looking at that menu to do it. Many the same reported, they don't know, they don't know, right? If it's not. And shout out to Dave, because he does a really good job trying to kind of reel them in, right? But it's like, you see them bring on Dave Kennedy, or they'll bring on what's the lady's name? Is Julia Kayem, Rachel Toback. They'll bring in people occasionally, but it's like they don't. But it's usually when it's like another country's involved. But yeah, they don't know what false negatives, false. I mean, look at what they do with the thing hackers now, right? I mean, look at the phrase hackers, right? They vilified that term hackers so much that when like the first few years in cybersecurity, I didn't tell people what I did for a living. I didn't tell people that I was an ethical hacker, because I used to get a whole lot of crap from it, right? I remember I'd go to like family gatherings, and like my aunts and like my sister-in-law, and like I would tell them what I do. Like, there's no such thing as an ethical hacker, or you hear or people on the news, because they hear it on the news, especially during election season. So that's going to ramp back up real soon. But anytime you say you hack legally, they look at you with a side eye. That's what actually, if you've ever seen my "I am a hacker" T-shirt, that's what brought on the idea, because those were so my shirt. Let's see, I'm not trying to sell anything, but if you look at the "I am a hacker" T-shirt, my "I am a hacker" T-shirt says "I am a hacker," but then on the back. Wait, why won't it bring up the back of the shirt? But anyway, the back of the t-shirt basically was like, nope, I don't work for the Chinese or the Russian government. No, I will not just go ahead and fix your computer. No, I will not. I'm not going to hack into a bank or reset your student loans. It was like all the questions that I typically would hear when people heard that that's what I do for a living. And again, I blame the media for that, right? Again, you have these reporters, they hear phrases, and they get it's a catchphrase, right? So like they hear things like advanced persistent threat or adversary, or and because those words sound so intimidating, they run with it. And it's like, you didn't even take the time to actually fully understand what it is you're saying. The other part that gets me, that cracks me up, is when they talk about cyber attacks, and they're like, oh, it was a sophisticated attack. It was such a sophisticated cyber attack. And but then when someone who works in the field, you look at it and like, it was an email. It was a phishing email. And that's the one that gets me all the time. Like, they try to make it they try to make it sound so crazy, because it's almost like they want to protect that company or the victim from hearing what really happened, right? Like, it was a sophisticated cyber attack. And sometimes it was, sometimes it is, right? I'm not going to say it's not. Sometimes it is a sophisticated attack. Sometimes it's something that takes weeks, if not months, to create the attack, or even sit on the system before they actually take anything. But a lot of the time they'd be like, it's such a sophisticated attack. And it was like, no, it wasn't. They sent someone a phishing link, someone clicked the link, the link installed malware or ransomware or whatever the case may be. It's not that sophisticated. All right. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the part that cracks me up the most about it. No, they won't. Only they again. Well, because I mean, I have my theories on that too. You hear about GDPR, but again, that's another country. And I think the reason why you'll hear about GDPR a lot is because GDPR goes that extra mile to protect their users, right? GDPR is very similar to what's the one California has, CCPA, right? So GDPR states that all citizens of the EU have to be protected by their laws, which means if you're a member, if you're a citizen of the EU and you're in the US, or you're in Africa, or you're wherever you are, they still have to protect your data the same way because you're a citizen of the EU, right? And GDPR is, they have very strict rules with for their data protection. But yeah, but people don't want to hear. People aren't going to research the terms because, for one, that's a lot of reading. For one, that's a lot of reading, and two, I mean, it's not as sexy, right? They just want to know how bad, how much, right? They want to hear the numbers. So, they don't want to hear that, the Capital One breach violated PCI DSS. They just want to know how many users were affected, right? How many users' records were breached, right? HIPAA, they don't want to know what the actual rules are for HIPAA. They just want to be able to say, this many thousand or this many million people, personal health records are affected. Do I think lobbyists on Capitol Hill would block something similar to GDPR? Try and figure out a way to answer this question without getting in trouble. I've already caused enough trouble in my career. We'll never have something like GDPR because it would give too much power to the user who knows about their rights. Now, what do I mean by that? No, you're good. I'm still going to answer the question, but what do I mean by that? Look at what's happening with TikTok right now, right? And I'm not on the side of, I'm just saying from the outside looking in. I'm not saying that TikTok shouldn't be banned or TikTok should be banned. I'm just saying, look at what's happening. Okay. They're worried about the user's privacy because it's a company that's owned in Singapore, right? Or the CEOs from Singapore, whatever. But there's connections to the Chinese government. Totally understandable. Where's that energy for Mr. Zuckerberg? Right? Where's that? That's my question. Hold on. So looks like both instances are done. So if we validate, it's thinking, boom. We have a read replica. So now we have finished our lab. Great. All right. But I'll continue to answer your question. Facebook or Meta is practically in the news almost like every week or at least every quarter because because they found out that they sold someone's data or whatever, right? Look at everything that happened with what was it? The whole thing back in 2016, right? The whole Cambridge Analytica thing or whatever the hell it was, right? That was users' privacy was stolen, right? Where's everything there, right? So yeah, it could be used as an attack vector, right? I mean, so you're taught in when you first start pen testing, it's a form of passive reconnaissance, right? Half the time, if I need to target a person or a company, I'm not going to them directly if I don't have to. I don't have, especially, and I don't have to because so many people overshare on social media. So many people post, everything. So I don't have to, do a lot of digging. It's right there, right? Same thing with companies. Companies do it on LinkedIn. Companies do it when they post their job posts, right? When they're hiring for a job, if it's a technical role, what are they asking for? They're asking you for your how much knowledge you have in certain technologies. So from right there, I can tell if you're a Windows shop or a Linux shop. You know what I'm saying? I can tell, oh, okay, so they're looking for a database administrator, must be proficient with MySQL. Okay, they use so these are things this is all information you can get. And like I said, social media, yeah, you can get a lot of information from social media. Now, back to what I'm saying, the reason why I said they won't ever allow something like GDPR is because GDPR allows the user to determine. Now, GDPR does that. I mean, they do have their workarounds and their loopholes, but GDPR has rules in there where the user can order OSINT for software vulnerabilities, OSINT for looking up the technologies. I mean, you can figure out their technologies and then go on something like Shodan and figure that out, right? But anyway, back to what I was saying, you can in GDPR, the user can say, where's my data being used? And then say, I don't know, remove that. And they legally have to do so. The only provision that stops them from doing that is if for some reason they can't legally, right? Like if there's some type of retention for legal purposes, like if there's some type of whatever, like, but then they have duties as a data custodian to make sure that data is protected and it doesn't go anywhere else, right? California implemented something similar to that, where California residents can basically look up their stuff and say, I don't want this here, I don't want this here, I don't want this there. Right now, what happens if everybody does that? If they did that on a national level and everybody knew how to do that, a lot of companies will be out of business. Companies like Facebook, their stock would plummet because they make a ton of money selling users' data, allegedly, right? But I mean, how many times has Facebook gotten in trouble? I think Facebook just got in trouble recently for getting caught selling users' data again. You know what? Allegedly, I want to say that. Here you go. New York Post. Facebook's users' personal data sent to thousands of companies in a study. Okay, so Facebook users are bombarded with ads from nearly 200,000 companies. I mean, think about it. How many times have you say something or you look at something and all of a sudden you're getting ads for it, right? So this is what I'm talking about. This is the stuff that they do. So this is why I think you'll never really have something like GDPR on a national level. Because the Capitol Hill won't do it, because the tech companies are greasing the pockets of a lot of the politicians to make sure that they're good. All right. What are we doing here? Team grows. We want to be able to manage users efficiently, support engineers, same set of permissions. Okay. So we're okay. So it looks like we're getting into IAM. Just trying to see how much of a haul this one's going to be. Yeah, no, like I said, it is like, I mean, there's a lot. There's definitely a lot when having with users' data. That's why, no, that's why I tell my clients, my mentees, my students, no one's gonna protect no one cares about your data. So you need to make sure you do, right? All they're gonna do is send you an apology letter, send you a few bucks and from whenever they settle their class action lawsuit, and maybe offer you like 18 months of credit monitoring. That's it. They do not care. They do not care because the money that the risk is the risk is worth it to them. They might have to pay out $100 million. They may have to pay out $1 billion. But what does it matter if they're making 2, 3, 4 times that? Right? So that's the
Welcome to an
gist of it. All right, so I'm actually gonna call this early because I have some things I need to take care of. So like I said, Friday, I don't know what y'all are doing on Friday. I'll be here. So I'll probably be streaming early on Friday. So you can join the marathon stream, I guess we'll call it that, because like I said, I want to knock out the rest of these. So it says here there's about 7 more challenges to recertify, 6 more. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna try to knock it all out, and like I said, I want to get it done. So yeah. All right, L. Well, thanks for rocking out again, everybody who's been watching. Appreciate it. Appreciate the support. If you want to know how you can support, fix it. It's a little blurry. I got my thumbprint. Okay, well, I don't know why it's doing it right now, but all right, that's better. No, it's not. But if you want to support the channel, you can do so by liking the video, hitting that subscribe button, clicking the bell for notifications, and sharing the video out. Leave a comment in the section. Get the algorithm jumping. Again, we are streaming on multiple channels, so wherever you're watching, please be sure to follow us there. And if you could, you can follow us on some of our other channels as well. I'll just run this caption down here so you can see it. But we do have several channels. We have our Alpha Esports Tech on YouTube and Twitch, and then we also have our Alpha Cybersecurity on YouTube and Twitch as well. So you can check us out there. You can follow me on social media. My tag is DJax Alpha on Twitter, or you can follow Alpha Esports Tech on Twitter. Instagram is Alpha Esports Tech. TikTok is Alpha Esports Tech. Facebook is Alpha Esports Tech. Twitter just had a whole thing with the one letter. I don't know. And also, if you want to support in any other way, you can click that up here. Click that scan that QR code. Buy me a coffee. If it's not used for coffee, because I know I need it, it'll be used to support the center. But yeah, you can do that as well. Not mandatory, but it is greatly appreciated, and we are appreciative of the support that we have been getting so far. So again, I will see y'all on Friday. Y'all be safe. Again, if you're in the area and you're and your kids are out of school, or when your kids should be out of school soon, peace be with you, and may the odds be ever in your favor. All right, y'all. Peace out. Have a good night.